In today's video, we're breaking down an upcoming threat for snow which has developed that may affect the Thursday morning commute, looking into the cold coming on Friday with real field temperatures dropping below zero yet again, and providing an update on a possible weekend winter storm. All that and more coming your way right now. Hey, good afternoon guys, John with New York Metro Weather back with another update on the weather over the next couple of days. Things have gotten a bit more active, and so we're going to dive into exactly what that looks like as we move through the middle of the week. Quiet out there today. Not too much going on, really. It's been a calm couple of days, and really the next 2 days will be fine. We're going to warm up a little bit tomorrow, but the focus then turns to this frontal boundary which approaches our area late Wednesday. You focus here, low pressure system goes into southeast Canada, and the front is kind of lingering. There's not much moisture along it initially, but as it moves into our area from late Wednesday into Thursday, the moisture around the front increases, and models are suggesting that enough moisture will stream up along the front and that cold air will have swung through in time that by the time we get into Thursday morning, bands of snow are going to develop along this frontal boundary. This is a trend that we've seen kind of expand on recent model runs, and the most recent runs that we're looking at are now projecting the possibility of light snowfall accumulations. Looking at the high resolution models, here's the HRRR model. It takes us through Wednesday afternoon. You see that system developing northward here into parts of New England, and eventually what happens is the front begins to slide southward. So here's the frontal boundary. You can see it moving down through New England. Here it comes, and so we get some rain showers that eventually develop into parts of New Jersey and New York. This is valid at around 4 a.m. on Thursday. But look what happens by the time we get to 7 a.m. All of those showers are turning to snow because that colder air is filtering down into the region, and then it kind of lingers around the area. There's enough lift in the atmosphere that those bands of snow keep reforming. And this is valid at around 8 o'clock a.m. on Thursday, which is aligned obviously right with the morning commute between 7 and 8 a.m. And the possibility exists that it could be snowing pretty steadily during that time, creating a little bit of a hazardous commute on Thursday. This is one of the more aggressive models that we have right now showing snow. A couple of them are weaker and faster, showing just very light accumulations. If you were to believe this set of models, looking more like possibility of 1 to 3 inches of snow across a large majority of the area on Thursday morning. One thing we like to do when it comes to these events is we look at forecast model soundings, and these take a look at the vertical profile of the atmosphere. So let's pull one up here. And so what we did here is we took an average of the entire New York City area. You can see the box we drew right here. It's a great website called Tropical Tidbits, and it gives us a lot of free, readily available weather model data. But this looks like a very fancy, scary image, but it's really not. You're just looking at a vertical profile of the atmosphere. Here's where you are, right on the ground, and then this just goes up with height. So these are the different height fields, and we get higher up in pressure here, and we look at where we are in the atmosphere. So these are the mid levels of the atmosphere, and this is the low levels. These two red lines here is the DGZ, which is short for Dendritic Growth Zone. Basically, that's where your snowflakes are being produced in the atmosphere, where the dendrites, the best type of snowflakes, are being produced. And when you see these red, orange bars, that's telling you that there's omega, there's lift in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is producing snowflakes. You have the motion that's required, and the processes ongoing that are required to produce snowflakes. You want to see lift in and around this growth zone to know that you're going to be producing snowflakes. And so this tells us that this model is pretty accurate in its depiction of these bands of moderate to heavy snow. And if this were to come to fruition, we'd likely be looking at light snowfall accumulations during the morning hours on Thursday. And so just to go back one more time, there are several weather models, we know that, but if this depiction were correct, and this is the developing consensus, we would be looking at a light snowfall on Thursday morning. That snow would get out of here by Thursday. Temperatures drop considerably, and so there would be possibly like a refreeze type situation with that snow sticking around through Thursday afternoon and evening, and that Arctic air coming in with very cold temperatures expected on Friday will drop down below zero in real field temperatures. Again, it's going to be brutally cold on Friday morning, and possibly a fresh snowpack to go along with it. That brings us to our next storm system, and this is the one that we talked about in yesterday's video for a bit for the weekend, and weather models have gone really back and forth with this, but we're looking at the European model, and we're again looking at the mid levels of the atmosphere and the vorticity there, so the spin in the atmosphere, and this gives us an idea as to where the disturbances are. And what's happening here is we have this one disturbance dropping southward from Canada, and we have another one lingering here in the southwest. And models over the past couple days have waffled back and forth in suggesting the possibility that these two disturbances could phase. And watch what the European model does here. It brings these two down, and it almost phases them completely, but instead you get like a partial phase, and eventually this disturbance really amplifies here in the eastern United States. But that partial phase means this is a little bit faster and more progressive. And so as a result, on this most recent European run, the storm slides out to sea. Here it goes, out to sea barely, but it misses our area to the east. Other weather models, and the European weather model itself in its prior run, had phased these two disturbances over the Mississippi Valley more effectively, and that led to a much larger, broader storm and a significant storm for our area. But if the two of these phase similarly to this, which is the general model consensus, a partial, quick, kind of messy phase, then the storm is likely to slide eastward and is probably not going to bring our area much impact on Saturday. Ensembles, which we talk about all the time, we love to use these ensembles because you take the European model, you run it 50 times, and you tweak each of those different model runs to give yourself an envelope of possible solutions. The ensembles are also mostly out to sea with this storm, but you see there is a cluster here, sort of a bifurcation in track, right? You have a group that's way out to sea, and then another group that's right up here near the coast. It's this group that has our attention. There's maybe 10, 12 of them that are close enough to produce significant impacts in our area. And so while the mean, if you take the average of these, is way out to sea, there's still this group that's close enough that are showing that phase, that are showing a stronger storm, that have our attention and really tell us that it's worth keeping a very close eye on this storm, because if it does take this western track, we would be looking at a substantial winter storm on Saturday. So we'll keep a very close eye on it. For now, the forecast is for this storm to slide just east of us, but the pattern is there. The pattern does support the possibility of this coming back closer to the coast if, and only if, these two disturbances can phase here across the Midwest and amplify this storm up the coast. So we'll have a lot more for you as we go through the next couple of days. Tomorrow morning, we'll break down the latest data on Thursday. We want to get through that first, and then we'll look ahead to the winter weather threat this weekend, and obviously the cold coming on Friday as well. That's all for today. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.